Hey guys, it's Miranda Hughes here from Walking Your Worth. I'm going to be doing something different as I have not done this before. Excuse my dog. Okay, so I have a very large dog and he's very noisy, so I apologize. But anyways, I'm going to continue with this because I already prayed about this before I started doing this video. God's been really wanting me to do this video, and I put it off because I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. This is very raw and personal, and I will have a disclaimer, like, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor. I am just a girl who had this horrible incident happen to her. It was very traumatic, and God is using my life and my testimony to reach you who's watching this. And maybe this will help you, maybe it won't, but I'm just letting you know that today is significant for me because this video that I'm making right now was not available for me when this happened to me. And because of that, I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to make sure that if there's anyone out there who has gone through what I've gone through, which I know millions to thousands have, that maybe this just might be able to give you somewhat of an idea of how to go about your situation. So, enough about that. I just wanted to let you know why I'm doing this video, what kind of encouraged me to do it, and also, you know, God's done so much for me in my life, and, you know, He doesn't let me down. So if this is what He wants me to do, if this is why He allowed something really horrible to happen to me so that I could impact someone else, so that they know what to do and how to go about it, and also how to reach God in the process of it and heal, then I'm going to do that. Like, I'm going to show up and be that person. So without further ado, sorry y'all about my hair. Like I said, it's real late at night. I'm tired, but I am not going to bed tonight without doing this video. So now that I got the disclaimer out of the way, now that I told you the intro to why I want to do this video and what was so significant about it, I just wanted you to know that I am going to be doing an 8-video series of what to do after being raped. Now what? So in this video, I'm only going to be talking about number 1, and next video will be number 2, and so forth. So you're just going to have to stay tuned, and you're just going to have to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to get any more tips, advice, guidance, or notifications of when I'm going to be releasing more videos in this content, because there's just too much good stuff, guys. I would love to cram it all in a video, but that would be at least could possibly be 2 hours long. And I don't know about you, but I like watching things, but I also know that I have a lot of busy things to do, and so do you. So that's why I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. So moving on, what to do after being raped. Now what? So number 1 is the obvious: report it. I did not do that. In this series, I'm going to tell you what I wish I had done, along with some things that I had done. Again, this is if I were to go back and do it all over again, you know, what would I have done different? So back then, there was no advice. There was really, you know, I typed it up on YouTube, this exact question, and it wasn't available. There was really nothing for me to go off of. And I remember feeling embarrassed and hurt and scared. And I just remember feeling really lost and shooken. Like, I didn't know who to trust. I didn't want to talk to anyone, but I also wanted help because I didn't know what to do. And just all over the place, guys. All over the place. And anyways, so I didn't report it when I should have, but let's just be real. It is extremely difficult to do for most women. There are plenty of women who have no problem, you know, coming forward and speaking it up, but they may have a problem talking about it with others. Like, they kind of want it to be in the court system, but they don't really want to talk about it, like, during social hour or something like that. Um, every woman's different, but what I can tell you that is the same is that for every woman is if you don't report it, then even though it happened to you, it's not that law enforcement and all that can't do anything about it. It's they don't know unless you speak up. They don't know that, especially if this is someone who has done this to you one or more times, or if this person has done something to multiple women and you're just one of them. Like, if they're trying to catch someone, they really need you to come forward and speak up, because you could be the missing link or the key to what they need to unlocking that mystery. But anyways, so number one is report it. And who do you report it to? Basically, the first one would be report it to the police. For me, I should have just went automatically to the police department in my hometown, but I have a very small hometown, so I don't know, I just thought it would be awkward, and to be honest, because alcohol was involved, I felt like no one would believe me. I felt like, you know, it would just get pinned back on me, so I didn't say anything. The second one to report it to would be your parents. Again, I thought they would look at me differently because of what happened. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe you feel that same way too. Comment below if you do, or if you have felt that way. For whatever reason, I just felt like my mom wouldn't love me the same. Like, she would just look at me different. So I didn't report it to her and let her know, you know, hey, this just happened to me and I don't know what to do. Can you please help me walk through it? And then the number three, when it comes to reporting, it would be friends. And this is not any friend who's willing to listen to you. Okay, hear me out. Not every friend who's willing to listen to you. Because some people say, well, what's wrong? Or, you know, what are you going through? Or why are you sad? Or whatever. But they're not genuinely caring. All they know is that you have a frown on your face, you're not as upbeat, or you're not your usual self, and they're just being nosy. They just want to know, why are you not being you? They don't really care about the fact that, I mean, they would probably say, oh, I'm sorry, or, oh, okay, or, oh, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I've had that before. But again, like, the day that I was raped, the day that happened, I didn't talk to a single soul, pretty much. Like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I still went to work, and I shouldn't have, but, was not mentally prepared or stable for that, but I did end up going. I just remember being in like a haze, like all day, not really focusing on anyone. I could barely even keep up with my work because I couldn't concentrate. And, you know, images of what happened just kind of kept replaying in my mind. And it was just, you know, it was just not a good ordeal. And when I did reach out to some friends, a couple of my friends didn't even really find out until like a few months to even a year after the whole incident had happened. And that's because even with them, I still felt awkward, and I felt embarrassed and ashamed, and I felt like they would not be able to relate. I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke, but I'm just saying, if you know what I'm talking about, then this is going to make sense to you. Which is, you know, as a friend, you can't really go up to them and just be like, oh, hey, I just got raped. Have you ever had that happen to you? Like, some girls, maybe they can. But for most women, the ones that I have talked to over the years have pretty much said the same thing, where they've been very silent, or they just kind of try to handle it themselves. And so even though I'm giving you this advice, whether you take it or not, or whether this hasn't happened to you yet, and maybe in the future this might help you out when you need to look back on something to have something to look up. The point is that this is what I really do wish that I had done. I wish I was not as scared or ashamed to come forward. I wish that I had the knowledge to know that it was going to be completely 100,000% fine to speak, to just simply speak. Hey, this guy did this to me. Or, hey, I thought that this may have happened. Can we do some tests? Can we, you know, what can we do if I were to be talking to the police to figure out what happened to me? Because something feels wrong and off, and I can't put pieces together. And yes, I may have been drinking, but it's like, I need to know the truth, and I need to know, you know, I just need to know the truth, like what happened to me. And, so that's why I say only those who truly need to know and who you can trust is who you need to report it to. So that, again, would be the police, your parents, and maybe one or two of your absolute closest friends. That is it. It does not need to be anyone who's willing to hear you out just because you're sad or you're caught up in the moment or anything, okay? This is a very serious matter, and it's going to take time to heal and process, so who you tell it to matters. Okay, and why should you report it? Well, let's think about it. Criminal act, it goes on their record. It's something that, you know, rape is a violent crime. It's not romantic. It's not, you know, anything gentle. It's not anything where it's just a mistake. It's like, no, this person intentionally knew what they were doing and they did it to you against your will. That's a crime. And so why should you be reporting it other than it being a criminal act? Well, first of all, if you get it immediately checked out by the police, there's a lot more options that are available to you. Like I said, you can get STD tested, you can go to the doctor, you can go to a gynecologist, you can go to whatever lab that they have. They might have further investigating strategies or whatever. They may track this guy down and talk to him, you know, for you. Even though it might be something that you don't, like, it might feel uncomfortable or awkward, but it's one of those things where it's needed. It's necessary. Another thing is possibly even talking to a psychiatrist or a therapist right away. They may have someone that they will send you to immediately, maybe not the first day, but within that first week, just so that they can document everything. Because you got to realize, like, your brain is going to be spitfiring flashback after flashback after flashback, because it's like your brain is trying to process what just happened. Okay, like, it is fresh, it is new, it is raw, and if you've never gone through that before, you don't know what happened. Even if you were completely awake, or if you're like me, where you only have bits and pieces of information, that's going to be, it's like connecting the dots. Like, you don't know what the picture is until you have all the dots connected. And that's what this group of people is supposed to do in your life. They're supposed to, you report it to the right people. They get you started on whatever path you need to your healing, and getting tests and labs done and figuring out, okay, we're going to help you connect the dots. You know, we're going to help you get all your missing pieces. And that's where I tried handling it myself, because again, I let shame, fear, embarrassment, and basically just, not even pride. It wasn't really pride. I mean, there's nothing to be prideful about, you know, being raped. It's just, a lot of it's just, being misunderstood. Like, I was afraid that people would not see me the same. So, or they wouldn't understand me and would have something negative to say or whatever, like, just whatever I put in my head. And that's what I went off of. Basically, I went with fear, and because I went that route, I was trying to handle it myself. And when you try to heal yourself, when you don't even have the right tools, knowledge, or understanding of how to heal from something like that traumatic in your life, you're not going to heal very fast. Like, a lot of trial and error. Like, no. So, I'm just going to break it down to you real quick, because again, I don't want this to be too long, because we're already at about 15 minutes, close to that. So, here's the thing. What happens after you've been raped? So this is, again, I'm not a psychiatrist, not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, just a disclaimer. I am simply a woman who was raped in 2016, and here in, you know, from 2021 to 2022, God had me get on YouTube and start a channel, and I'm just now getting the courage to go bigger, I guess, with telling my story. So this is what I experienced, this is what I felt, and if you can relate, awesome. Give this video a thumbs up. And again, if you like it, go ahead and comment down below, you know, what you can relate to on, or if there's anything that I miss, Let me know what kind of symptoms that you went through or side effects. Let me know what you struggled with, because this stuff is important, and the more people that speak up, the more that we figure out why we feel this way and what happens afterwards and how to kind of cope with it. You know, showing other women that they're not alone is very, very crucial to growth and healing. So again, if you like this video, thumbs up. If you want to comment something down below, go ahead and do so. If you want to subscribe to this channel, because this is something that you really feel has a lot of value that you can bring into your life, then definitely subscribe to this and hit that notification bell, because like I said, not only does it help me give you more content, it also helps you with knowing when I'm going to release that content. So you won't know if you don't get notified. So anyways, back to this. So what happens after you've been raped? For me, it was a lot of things, but I'm just going to read what I wrote down. Hopefully this helps y'all. If not, I'm sorry, but this is what I got so far. I want to do even more videos on this, but this is, like I said, it's hard to do, so I'm just going to go with it. So you're going to be in shock. Your mind will play what happened to you over and over, making it difficult to think or respond or even function. Having the police involved, even though you are embarrassed or scared, they can help you connect the dots much better than what you have given them credit for. So as I explained about that earlier, you know, this is what their jobs are. This is what they deal with on a daily basis. And if it's a small town and they don't deal with it on a daily basis, they had to be trained in this area at some point. So don't think that just because it's your story and it's your case and you're the person who's going through this, that they're not going to help you. It is their job, and they are required to help you. And if they don't help you, then you go to someone else. But I will tell you, if you, whatever town or city that you got raped in, that's the town or city that you need, the police that you need to talk to about, okay? Because yes, you could talk to them about in your hometown, but if it didn't happen in your hometown, more than likely they're going to tell you, well, you need to go report that to wherever it happened at. Think of like if you got in a car accident, like, okay, so if I'm just going to say, if I'm in Fountain County right now in Indiana, I can't go over there to Marion County and say, hey, I got in a car wreck. They're going to be like, well, if it happened in Fountain County, why wouldn't you just report it there? So kind of the same principle. I haven't looked further into that, but that's what some doctors had kind of told me years ago, was wherever it happened, try to report it in that area. So here's what's really going to happen. So if you were to report it, basically they're going to do a head-to-toe exam, so they're not going to miss anything. They're going to check you thoroughly. STD testing, I got every test known to man. It was like $500 something. I didn't even care. I was just like, this guy, I heard rumors about him. It was date rape. I know it was someone that I kind of knew, but it wasn't like I knew him like the back of my hand. I didn't know every woman that he had slept with. I didn't know what any and all diseases he could have had. So like I said, like for me, I waited, let's see, it happened in May of 2016. So it wasn't till October of 2016 before I got my test. But that's because some tests, I'm just going to be honest with you, some STD tests you can get like right away. And then there's other tests that you have to wait at least 30 to 60 days, some even like 90 or more, just because it's just the aftermath of the effects of being exposed to a certain disease or certain infection. You just may not get side effects until that time. So yes, even though the waiting period sucks, whether you have the money or not, pray to God about it. Like, just go through it. Like, get it done. Do as much as you can. If you can't do them all in one day or 1 week, then do little by little. Like I said, the test that you can do within 30 days, get that done in that time frame, and then wait another 30 days. So the 60-day period, that's when you would get the next round, I guess, of STD testing of whatever is required in that time frame. And the same thing applies to 90 days or more. So when you do this, not only will it help you with the costs a little bit and the overwhelmingness, the only thing it's not going to help you with is your anxiety, because like I said, if you were to catch something, you're not going to know until that time frame, because the doctors can only do so much. Like, they can test you, but if it's a waiting game where they have to make sure, you know, to see if something is going to pop up, like warts or herpes or anything like that, or even AIDS, like, there's just a certain amount of time where you have to allow it to run its course. And unfortunately, that's just how that is. Another thing that they can do is, especially if you were like me and you fought this person off, I don't know if I got his skin under my nails, but I just remember really fighting him, pushing him off of me. And I remember basically telling him no 3 different times. I had to kind of like move at him, I guess, with my hand. So it's like, again, I don't know if I scratched him at all. Like, I remember bits and pieces. So with this, if I had done this years ago, they could have taken a DNA sample from my nails and tried to trace him that way. If it's someone that you don't know and it was a stranger who had raped you. For me, it was date rape, so I did know this person. I knew his first and last name, and I recognized his face. So obviously, it wouldn't matter if I had DNA under my nails or not from his skin. I could just report him, and that would be that. And then the last one is investigate or interrogate the person who raped you. So, like I said, these are the reasons why you need to report it. Because you're not going to be able to function as well as you think. Like, if you have never been raped, like, thank God that you haven't. But I'm just saying, if you have and you just haven't come forward yet, or if it's just happened very recently, or even if it was a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm not sure if it's across the board, but I do know that at least in the state of Indiana, I was told back in 2016, because it had been like 3 or 4 months when I found out some test results, and they asked me, the doctors at the gynecologist caught wind of my situation, and I had multiple people come in the room, and they asked me, do you want to press charges? And I said no. And it was because I was humiliated by this whole ordeal. I was extremely angry at God, my mom. Another video, I'll get into that. A lot of my situation, I was just mad. I was mad at myself. And for whatever reason, I was really upset, thinking that, and this is what I mean by fear, is I was so afraid to come forward, because what they told me was if I were to press charges, it would have to go to court. And that means that they would have to legally put that documented piece of information in the Fountain County newspaper. So that means, okay, my grandma reads the newspaper, so she would find out through the newspaper instead of me. Any of my friends, family, or anyone that I grew up with in my hometown, if they read the newspaper, and if there's anyone in Fountain County area who buys the paper, they're gonna find out, because even if it's not like on the first page or something, if they're, you know, sifting through it and that my name appears, they're gonna be like, oh, when did this happen? Or, oh my gosh, I didn't know that happened. And so for me, my thought was, I was no longer going to be, you know, Miranda Hughes. I was going to be the girl that got raped. And that is why I did not report it, because I didn't want to be the girl who got raped. I wanted to be my name. I was trying to protect my identity. I was trying to protect myself from embarrassment and humiliation. And it turns out, whether that would have happened or not, the thing is the guy walked away free. He committed a crime. I found out later that there was multiple other women who had told me, when I confided in them, that he had done that to them too. And so I realized that I was starting to think, man, how many women in this county has he done this to? And it's like, you know, another guy does something he shouldn't, gets by with it because a woman is too scared to say anything. And like I said, I didn't have the confidence, the knowledge, the understanding, or just the backbone to stand up and speak and tell the truth, even though it's not It doesn't have to be in front of the whole world, like, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But back then it was like, again, a need to know basis. If the court needed to know, if doctors needed to know, if the police needed to know, if my parents needed to know, and if maybe two of my closest friends needed to know what just happened and went down, then that's okay. It's perfectly normal and fine and appropriate to report your incident. And like I said, if you don't report it, then how is anything ever going to get changed? And I'm not being a hypocrite on here and telling you that you should report it just because I didn't. It's like, no, I'm telling you to report it because I went through a lot of hell to get to healing. Okay? It took me 4 years, almost 5, just to heal from what happened. I couldn't even say the word rape for 4 years. Simply because, and I'll be honest, one of the guys' names in the Bible, the guy who raped me, his name is in the Bible. So anytime I would read, I would have to skip over it. It made it hard to read. Anytime I saw this person's first name, it was like a trigger for me. Like, I couldn't even say the name. I couldn't say rape. Like, my whole world changed. So that's what I'm trying to say is, like, I feel like a lot of that heartache, a lot of that tension and struggle and striving to get better could have been eliminated if I had just reported it from day 1 or week 1, even within, I don't know, a month or so. But from what I was told when I was at the doctor's office, sorry, I kind of got off track. But the doctors had told me that in the state of Indiana, I believe, I don't know if it's all across the board, but they told me that you should have up to 5 years to report an incident like that. I don't know if it's longer now. Like I said, that was back in 2016. I don't know. That's just what I was told. And that's why I had the disclaimers on here twice, because I want you to be aware that I don't know everything, but I am sharing with you what I do know. I am sharing with you why I agree with reporting it from the get-go. Whether it doesn't have to be day 1. If it's a stranger, definitely do it day 1. It really will help. If it's like my situation, date rape, where it's someone you know, mine obviously wasn't a relative, but it was a family, it was my cousin's, one of my cousin's closest friends. And that's why I never saw it coming, because I didn't think that would happen to me. Like, I thought the dude would respect me enough, or he would at least leave me alone just because he knew who I was connected to. And it was like, nope. He had an opportunity and he took it. So hopefully this will help you guys. Again, I do strongly believe in God, so I'm just letting you know, obviously you might not be able to pray about this unless you already are strong in your faith when this happens to you. For me, this is how I met God. This is when I knew about God, but I didn't have a relationship with him. And this was the very beginning of when I started to realize who God was and how real he was. Because after this had happened, I was sobbing on my floor in my bedroom, crying because I just kind of wanted to end my life. I thought that my life was over. I had no direction, no purpose. I felt lost. I felt so damaged, and I felt like this guy took everything from me, and I didn't ask for it. I told him no 3 times, different times, and he still did what he wanted to do. I only had bits and pieces of the information because I blacked out from time to time. I remember fighting him off, but he still managed to do whatever he wanted. And it was like, I felt like it was just like, God, you know, the only people in the room were you, me, and the guy who did this to me. Like, why did you let that happen? And, you know, I didn't realize it back then, but over the years, God opened up my eyes, and he was kind of took me back to that moment. And he was just kind of like showing me back when I was crying on the floor, and I felt like his hand, like, I don't know why, it was like a vision. He just kind of like showed me his hand on my shoulder, and he kind of crouched down, and it was like me completely flat on the floor, sobbing, feeling like I'm about to give up on life. And God just kind of like, well, Jesus was like kneeling down on my level, and he had his hand on my shoulder, and he was just like whispering in my ear, like, I know this hurts, but watch and see what I'm going to do with this pain. Watch and see what I'm going to do with this. And then it started to make a little more sense. Not at the time, not in 2016, and not even, 2 years ago, like before COVID. It was during COVID when God started to break all this down to me and why I needed to share my story. So I know this is kind of a long video. It's 30 minutes, but if y'all can watch a freaking hour show or 2 hours of TV, then you can definitely watch this. Again, I may be really tired just because it's really late at night, but I had to get this out tonight. I could not wait another night. It's time. It's time. I finally figured out what I wanted to say and how I somewhat want to say it. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to do an 8 video series of what to do after being raped. Because like I said, this is 30 minutes long. And this is just number 1. Point number 1, which is report it. And why? Because it's a criminal act. And you need to get checked out immediately, because the faster you get checked out, the faster you can connect your dots. And the faster you can get to healing and moving forward. And also, like I said, if you do strongly believe in God like I do, He's going to be with you every step of the way. He said he'll never leave you nor forsake you, and he meant it. If you are someone who doesn't know God, or you've only heard of him, but you don't have a serious relationship with him, then, comment down below if you'd really like one of those. Or you can email me if you'd like to, and I can walk you through the steps of how to build a relationship with Christ, or at least how to let him into your heart so you can welcome him into your life so that you can start walking in life with Jesus. Even though you may have been raped or you've had other bad things happen to you, you're not alone. God is waiting for you to ask him and invite him into your heart and into your life. So if that's something that is speaking volumes to you right now, and you feel that tugging and you feel that pull, don't ignore it. Send me an email, comment down below if this is something that you need, and we'll go from there. So I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient. And most of all, thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for giving yourself the opportunity to grow and learn even more than what you already knew, or to at least, if you already knew all this stuff, just to be confirmed that, hey, you knew it. So anyways, this is Miranda Hughes, and don't forget to subscribe, like this, and to hit that notification bell, and to leave a comment down below if you'd like. And also, don't forget to stay gorgeous and glorious, and to walk in your worth. Love you guys. Bye.